Come with me to go and hunt down my bestie in Cape Town. I left Lagos using the one and only route, which is to fly TAAG Angola Airlines to get from Lagos to Cape Town. I'm going to show you the journey, and if you know, you are probably already taking this route, and if not, you have to see the way in which Angola have blown it out of the park with their new airport. I just have to show you this, and also see what we did on day one in Cape Town. So I left the house about 10 p.m. because we had a flight, or I had a flight at 1 a.m, which for me is the perfect flight time because you can sleep. Anyhow, headed to the airport, checked in, and the joy of the airline really begins at the check-in. Great service. I was flying business class, and they actually carry your hand luggage all the way through to the plane. Somebody accompanies you, and we went up to the Atelier lounge. I had a bit to eat in there, and then once we were ready to check on, she carried my bags and took me down to the plane. I mean, you really couldn't ask for more. What a great service. So boarded the plane, and these are all new planes that I was on. I know sometimes they occasionally may send the older planes, but out of the 8 journeys I've done with TAAG, I've only had one of the old planes. So anyway, this plane was on there. Great, they've got chargers. They don't have TVs because this is actually 2 short flights. So the first leg was 3 hours 30 minutes approximately, and then you land in Luanda, and I had about a 3-hour layover in the end. And when I got to the airport, I just could not believe it, because last time I flew TAAG was about October 2025, and they had since opened up their new terminal. It was open for cargo, I believe, last year, but in January through to March, they did a phased opening, and now I believe it's fully operational. So it really makes for a good layover, a good connection if you are going to Cape Town. And I believe they're going to become quite an excellent hub for traveling around Africa and beyond, much like Ethiopia has become. So very excited about all of that. So the airport was just beautiful. It was well lit. The lounge was gorgeous. The food in the lounge was delightful. The pastries, mind-blowing. They even had lots of coffee shops. They had acai bowl, breakfast spot. There was so many foods. They've got lots of shops coming. They already had their duty-free. I saw they have shops coming like Michael Kors. So there's a lot going on, and it is stunning. There's so many different places to sit, charging places. There's even a kids' playground. So Angola Airport is just really doing the business, and credit to them. Absolutely stunning. So anyhow, now it's time to get on to the second leg of my journey, which again is only about 3.5 hours to 4 hours. So obviously it changes slightly, but that is the approximate duration. So all in all, you're in Cape Town in no time at all. So love that. Managed to get some breakfast on the plane. Wasn't that hungry. And forgive me, they do serve the breakfast in a much better fashion, but for some reason I took it all off the tray and put it on the table next to me. But they do have an excellent business class service. They bring serviettes, trays, and all of the above. It's fabulous. So I went to sleep, and before you know it, the captain said we are landing in the most gorgeous place ever, which is Cape Town. What a delight to be here. Got through the airport in, again, no time at all. They're super duper quick there. And my nephew, who has a assistant and concierge service, arranged a female driver, to come and collect me as I was traveling alone and drop me off to my hotel. Great service. She met me inside. Highly recommend. If you need the details, let me know. So arrived at my hotel, and my husband, I still hadn't hunted him out yet, my bestie. He was still at work, but we met up a little bit later on. So what I wanted to do, we were staying at the waterfront, and I think once you've been traveling, regardless of the time, the best thing to do is to get moving. And I don't always do this, and you do find that you end up quite sluggish for days on end. So therefore, I made a pact to myself that as soon as I got there, given we were staying amidst the most beautiful coastline, I was going to go for a very long walk, and managed to do about 10,000 steps along the waterfront, from V&A waterfront all the way down to Sea Point. Absolutely stunning walk. And it was just so nice. They have a purpose-built pathway, a promenade of sorts. So gorgeous to be able to walk like this, like such a blessing and a privilege to have this. And if you are in Cape Town, make sure you do this walk all the way along down to Sea Point. You pass the lighthouse. There's lots of little cafes along the route. Gorgeous. There's grassy areas, and obviously to your right you have the ocean. There are people surfing in the ocean. Honestly, it's just breathtaking, and it's so refreshing. The sun was beaming down, but there's still a gorgeous breeze. It was amazing. That's all I can say. Yeah, and it's very health focused. People were running, and there was even this cold plunge / sauna place right on the water. Beautiful. Anyhow, I decided I was going to sit down for coffee, and also felt slightly hungry. And then my bestie showed up just as the sun was setting. So perfect timing. So we had a coffee, and then we took a brief walk back to our hotel before we got ready to go out for dinner. Every time we've ever been to Cape Town, we always go to the same restaurant, and we usually go about 4 times on one trip, and we still love it. It's called Den Anchor. It's on the V&A waterfront, and I'm going to put the name on here. I would recommend it. It's excellent. So reasonably priced, and the food is just great quality, and the service is great. It was late at night, so we didn't sit outside, but in the daytime, if you do go, fabulous place to sit as well, right next to all the marina or the harbour, as it were. Excellent views, just stunning food. Please make sure you get the pear salad. And then, of course, we ended the night at Asoka, and we finished off with cocktails, the famous porn star martini they have there, and some whiskey for the guys. Great night, great day. Happy to be reunited with my bestie and be enjoying the rest of the days in Cape Town. Tune in to see what else I have scheduled.